What's going on with this fight? What's with Kevin Shells? I'm Shells.
Kev, 8 Count Sports. What's going on, bro? What's going on?
Chilling, man. What's going on with you, bro?
Everything good. Everything good. Just another day.
It's another day. Just another day, another dollar. Right now, actually $6 for each fighter for the next upcoming boxing event. What we got, bro?
$6. We got Fatal Fury, man. Your man Turkey back at it. Fatal Fury, man. We got 6 of the most anticipated fighters at the welterweight division now. They're welterweights now. Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez trying to get back at it. We got a lot of good fights, man. I like it, man. It's a triple threat. 3 super fights. What do you think? What's your thoughts on these fights? And this is Friday. This is Cinco de Mayo weekend. This is the Friday card. We haven't even gotten to Canelo Alvarez, which is going to be Saturday. So, I mean, what do you think about the Friday night festivities, man?
Bro, this is like, you know how when someone asks for their biscuit with gravy, this is extra gravy. It's like heavy gravy, bro. This is like, and it's just all spectacles. Like, not all spectacles, like these are not super fights, but it's like, bro, they're having this in Times Square. Like, my thing is, where exactly are they gonna have this fight? It's gonna be it seems like it's gonna be in the hour, because I was watching a press conference and they were all in the cold, wrapped up, having except for Theo. He's the only one who just had on some sort of overall with no shirt on. But
right.
Bro, it's like they're gonna have it outside and in the middle of Times Square. I'm trying to figure out how the scene is gonna go about. Like, that's what I'm very interested in that. But
right.
These are 3 super fights. One implication is if Ryan Garcia gets through his opponent and Devin Haney gets through his opponent, then that's a setup for the anticipated rematch between those 2 guys.
Right.
So there's a lot going on, bro. I mean, yeah, I'm excited about it. Honestly, I'm excited about it. Like, but which fight out of all those 3, which fight are you?
Say it again.
Out of the 3 super fights, which ones are you the most excited about?
Out of those 3, to me, and we'll go over it, it's going to be Haney and Ramirez. I think the main event, which is Garcia and Rolly, that's made to order. I am interested in Tio and Barbosa. I am, because Barbosa is because Tio is so unpredictable. So I am, and Barbosa has been very consistent. But
say it again.
And Barbosa has been very consistent. You got Tio, who's a superstar who has no ceiling, but we've seen so many fights where he's fought down and below competition. And then we got Barbosa, who's just been consistent, flying under the radar, no big fanfare. And every fight he improves. So this might be that might trip Tio up. But for me, man, it's Haney and Ramirez. It is Haney and Ramirez without question. Without question. It's at this point, bro. Haney is in a spot where if he's the old Haney, he would be. I think he would beat Ramirez. If there's any slippage, if that Ryan Garcia tripped him up in any way, this is not the guy you want to be in. This is a guy that's going to be in Haney's face and is going to test. He's going to test basically any kind of, you know how they say once a guy loses their first fight, they're not the same again. Even though Haney didn't physically get the loss, we can't erase what happened that night. So if Haney ain't right mentally, he could take an L. This is not a walkthrough. I think this is actually the perfect opponent for the situation. So I like that fight. I think that fight is the most intriguing of the 3.
I like the Tio versus Barbosa fight. To me, like, they just have the most personal grievances against one another. Like, everyone else kept the those 2, to me, it seems like it's something you need that extra grit just to make it that much more interesting. Like that personal, like, I don't like you situation. Like I really want to hurt you, even if I'm just getting paid for it right now. That kind of thing make it the most interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm definitely interested in in Haney versus Garcia, in the implication that Haney versus Garcia there might be a part two also based on how they perform. That's what also interesting about that too. Like I think that's a big part of it. Is just we want to see if this is going to result in a Garcia Haney part two. That's another thing
Right,
that
right.
really about the situation.
Yeah, yeah. And it sounds like that fight might be already signed from
It
together.
feels like it.
It's what it sounds like. That's the next thing. So I mean, I don't know if Haney says he's not looking past Ramirez, which I believe that, but it sounds like the promoters are. The fans
They
are.
don't look past Ramirez and Rolo, but you never know, bro. Every puncher has a chance, bro.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
like, bro, could you imagine if Rolo and Ramirez ends up winning and because of that, them two in the
No, I can't imagine that. I cannot imagine on that. The only way Rolly is beaten is gonna. The only way Rolly beats Ryan Garcia is if Ryan Garcia pops positive again. That's the only. This is the most made to order fight I've seen in a long time. Rolly just hasn't looked good. He just looks overmatched in his last few fights. And these guys aren't. I mean, Tank is a big puncher, but Pitbull Cruz is not as big as punches as Ryan Garcia. And I think these two sparred against each other in this. They have footage of Ryan Garcia knocking Rolly out, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I could be wrong about that, but it was footage of Rolly getting knocked out. It's just they put him in too fast. And it's to a point where he's not. It seems like he's not even taking punches well. I can just see. I'm gonna go straight to it. Prediction time. That's the main event. Rolly and Ryan is the main event. The first left hook Ryan lands, Rolly's not gonna react good to it. I got at the most second round knockout. Second round knockout for Ryan Garcia. Respectfully. Respect to Rolly for stepping in there. Based on his last two performances, I can't see it, man.
Yeah, you came in there fast with the predictions. All right,
Yeah, it's.
I got you. I'm gonna give him a little more respect.
Okay.
I'm gonna put him. I was gonna say third, but I'm fourth round, bro. Fourth round TKO.
What? TKO for Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So the second fight, you want to call it a co-main. Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. What you thinking?
Whoa, what was that? Was that a slight comment? If you want to call it the co-main, we all call it the co-main.
Is it the co-main? It ain't just because this ain't UFC. Just because the fight is on prior to the main event, does that make every fight prior to the main event the co-main?
Yeah, I think that's what.
Yeah, okay. I didn't start hearing about co-main events to the UFC. But based on the opponents, yes, I think this would qualify as a co-main. Yeah. I think it will qualify. But I just the fact that Ryan. One thing I can ask you about how do you feel about Ryan being the main event in the midst of what happened with him and Haney? Because we saying this is a co-main, and I don't care what anybody say. Your main event is the last person up. How do you feel about Ryan getting the main event slot in this situation? I mean, Teofimo Lopez is a former 2-division undisputed or close to it. Haney was undisputed at lightweight and had a belt at 140 until this whole mishap with Ryan. So, I mean, how do you feel about after all of that, Ryan being the one following a knockout loss to Tank, and then what happened last April, main event in this?
Okay, well, this is what this tells me. Number one, I think on the surface, on it all leads to the money. I think out of everyone, Ryan Garcia is the biggest draw. I think this is, and when you're the biggest draw, they're looking for any excuse to put you on the main card. So the fact that yeah, on his record is that L, but the fact that there's a general consensus that he got cheated in a sense, him being the biggest draw out of those 6 fighters lends more to that conspiracy that not even that conspiracy that belief that people have that he really should have been that he got cheated out of it.
That Ryan got cheated.
That Ryan got cheated. But here's my thing: the only reason that they're gonna allow that to rock is because he's the biggest draw. If Ryan wasn't a bigger draw, they're like, bro, but the record says you got the L. Get back in the line. But because he's the biggest draw, he gets that grace based on that belief. So that's what that tells me right there.
Got you.
But with Haney Ramirez, like you said, that is the perfect fight for Hank because he where he really is. But I do think he's gonna end up on top. During the press conference, Ramirez was very. He expressed frustration at how the media, like they kind of, he felt like the media is basically dismissing him.
Right.
That's when Haney said that he's not even focusing on Garcia. And Ramirez says like, yo, this guy's the first one who said like he's focusing on me. You media guys has been just put me to the side and just making it feel like it's like a make to order. Haney, he's going right for Garcia next. And now me say what I'm saying. I hope my man Ramirez isn't hearing this. And I hope he.
You said say it again.
I'm saying I hope. Basically, what he just said there during the press conference. What I'm saying now, I hope he's listening, but he's not he's not pissed off because I do feel he's gonna take it. I just, bro, even though he got the experience, I think he has a bigger chip on his shoulder, bro. And for Haney, even though Haney said that he's studying the man in front of him, in the back of his mind, he knows like if I get past him, I get back at Ryan. He knows that, bro. I know, like you could tell. I don't believe for a second that he's not thinking of Ryan Garcia in some context of the fight that he's having against Ramirez. So just off of that, I think he's gonna do it. But I think it's gonna go all the way, bro. Yeah, I don't think this is not gonna be no knockout type situation.
Yeah, Haney don't really chop people. Yeah, Haney don't be knocking people out like that.
This is gonna be a decision. What about you? What you think?
Oh, that's a good question. This is like I said. This out of all the fights, this is the most. Oh boy, hey. Shells. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll be honest with you. I like Haney. I find myself pulling for Haney a lot, but when I do this stuff, I'm not biased about it. One thing that I always wanted to see with Haney, and they're fighting at 147. This is a question before he even got in the ring with Ryan Garcia. The question I always had with Devin Haney is what happens if he fights fighters that are skilled but his size? Like how would he deal with them? I feel like he was big for a lightweight. And he was able to judge distance. He was able to control distance with skills. He was skilled enough to really control distance against guys that were skilled, just as skilled, or even more skilled. Lomachenko was even more skilled. And even in that fight, there were pockets where Haney did really well. Like unexpected, like you would think, Lomachenko is you had him like the chess master at boxing, like the most high IQ. Haney was in there in pockets, really taking it to Lomachenko in spots. So But his Linares fight at lightweight, where even though he dominated that fight, he did get caught by Linares. And then moving up in weight, the first fight against Regis. Regis is small for the weight class, at least smaller than Haney at 140. But when he got in there with Ryan, you could kind of see, to me, what I saw with Haney was he had problems with the distance. keeping distance away from Ryan, who's actually taller than him. Might be taller or the same size. He had issues. Ryan is, as an amateur, is just as decorated as Haney. Like, he's not far off. So that's why when I look at the fight, when I look at Ramirez kind of checks those boxes. Like, Ramirez, even though he's a bit more rougher, he has skills. So I'm gonna lean towards Haney. I think he'll be able to outslick Ramirez, but I think it's gonna be close. It's gonna be very close. I think when you get to the cards at the end, it'll be close. So I'll go with Haney by majority decision.
All right, getting slick with it, majority decision. Okay.
Yeah. You don't know, man. He coming off of what went down. We don't want to call it a loss, but coming off of what went down in his last fight, we don't really know where he is right now. And that was a bad beating. Shells, that was a bad beating. It was. When we talked about it, I said, the question that I posed to you was like, do you think Bill should have stopped the fight? Bill Haney at a point. I'm like, there was parts where, even though Haney fought well and had a chance to win the fight at a certain part going late, it was like, damn, like Haney couldn't, his legs were going. His legs were going early, real early. So it'll be interesting to see. I think that's the fight of the night. Yeah, man. And last but certainly not least, we got Teofimo Lopez against Batista. I'm sorry, Barbosa.
Yeah, Barbosa.
Barbosa. I'm just Batista. Like, who you got, man? Who you got?
Even like I said, this is the fight that excites me most just based on their animosity towards one another.
Mm-hmm.
I think neither of them are. Tia Lopez, he may like to play around on the outside of the ring, but he does not play on the inside of the ring, bro.
Okay.
I think he's the problem. I'm not saying Barbosa is a pushover, but I think Tia Lopez is gonna get the best of him, bro. I think honestly, I think it's gonna be a good fight though, but I think Tia Lopez is gonna get the best of him. I'm gonna bring that to that's another decision fight. I think that's gonna go to decision as well, bro.
Okay. Arnold Barbosa Jr., Teofimo Lopez. Shells, I don't know. Here's another one I don't know about. So I think Teofimo Lopez is all world, Shells. Like I think when he beat Lomachenko, and I think he might have been early 20s when he beat Lomachenko. That was a big deal. He was at the mountaintop, and it was just like, at that point, everything just kind of started going haywire. The next fight, he lost to Cambosis. Bro, when I turned that fight, first of all, it took him a million years to make that fight. T.O. talking about the takeover. They having bidding issues on the fight. It was a whole mess. It took them people catching COVID. Next thing I know, by the time they made the fight starting, Shells. I look down and look up. I see T.O. on the floor getting up. I'm like, what? Against who? Like, what? Dropped all the belts in one night, bro. And I'm like, then he has performances against Jermaine Ortiz. He doesn't look great. Then he comes back and beats Josh Taylor for all the straps, and Josh Taylor's tough as nails. So it's like when it's almost like, it's like I think he's all world, bro. But it's almost like he gets in his own way. It's the weirdest thing. The stage is set. This is a big card, Shells. I think he'll be motivated for this fight, but the guy that he's fighting, Barbosa, he's on fire. We just mentioned Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez only has 2 losses, Josh Taylor and Barbosa. Arnold Barbosa Jr. And he followed it up with a win against Catterall, the same Catterall that beat Josh Taylor as well. This is when a guy is streaking, and in every win, the quality of opponent increases is something to look out for. So can he outbox Teofimo Lopez? It's possible. It's very possible. I think Teo is all world, but I think that there is a blueprint to beat him. I think there's been fights where he hasn't looked good, and I think Barbosa can. This is a hard one to pick. I'll take Teofimo Lopez because I think he doesn't have a ceiling. I think he's all world and doesn't have a ceiling. So I'm picking Teofimo Lopez based on the best version of Teofimo Lopez that I've seen. Nice. That I'll take Teo. I'll say that he's highly motivated for this fight. He scores a few knockdowns. I'll go with a stoppage. I think he turns up in a big moment and gets a stoppage. Ninth round. Teofimo Lopez.
Okay.
All right. So now we move on to Saturday.
The day that's reserved for the face of boxing, like one of the faces of boxing. Days are reserved for him and only him, bro. Who do we got, bro?
Saul Canelo Alvarez, and he will be taking on, drumroll please, William Scull. Tell me, how did this fight come about, Shells? We were talking about this prior to the show. You mentioned, I didn't know how this fight came about. You mentioned his deal. There's a 4-fight deal with him in Turkey.
Yeah, it's basically it's the big 4-fight deal that Canelo signed with Riyadh season, which is the entertainment season in Saudi Arabia that's run by Turkey Al Sheikh. And the headstone or the golden egg of this whole deal is the September fight that he has signed with Terence Crawford. That's the fight. But this is the fight that he's having before the fight with Terence, and a lot of people tuck this in to be like a tune-up fight for Canelo before he goes to fight Terence Crawford.
Tune-up fight.
And one could argue that this fight is in line with his pattern of cherry picking, as people would say, or accusing him of cherry picking his opponents, up until he gets against Terence Crawford, which we none of us could say it's a cherry pick fight. Like, this is a fight that
you don't think so?
It's not deep. Against Terence Crawford, you think that's cherry picking?
I'm asking you. He's going up. They fighting at 168. Terence Crawford is currently 154, and he only has one fight at 154. He's at 147 one fight ago. So, that's 1, 2, 3 weight classes. Well, you know what? Let me take this back. In fairness to Canelo didn't ask for the smoke.
That is where I was going with it. I like it, bro. Like, I feel Terrence is the one who won. Terrence is going to say, like, yo, I'm going to take that. Because I take it wrong. Like it's not the fight we want Canelo, because we all know the fight that we want Canelo to have. We all know the fight, bro. Like, and the fight against Benavidez, that could happen because it's a 4-fight deal. The other 2 fighters wasn't announced for his next 2 fights.
Right.
That could happen in 2026. But this fight that's happening in May, it's against a relative unknown. But at the end of the day, bro, like I said, it seems like I'm not saying it's 25 in disrespect to the guy who's fighting. It's a fight that he's more than likely expected to win, and I'm in agreement with it, bro. I see this fight going to decision as well, bro. I just see this fight going to decision with Canelo. Canelo, to me, he has. You could say he has knockout punch, but Canelo to me doesn't go for the knockout. Like, he really paces himself with. And that's the thing with him, like his, like, you see him, like, he really goes. He, like, sometimes to me it feels like he goes, this is on purpose, especially if he doesn't feel threatened. You know what I'm saying? So, Yeah, I'm gonna go with him going. Hopefully, and this one fight, I'm hoping that he was. I want to see fight Terrence Crawford, and I want to see who else is gonna fight for the next 2 fight deals. But yeah, I definitely see it go.
You say go to a decision.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Canelo fights like somebody said. Oh
yeah.
shit,
Another tune up. I've been watching Canelo fight tune up since he lost to Bivol. Bunch of tune ups. A bunch of tune up. Yeah, sure. He beats Skull. You can tell me how it went. I'm sorry. I can't watch this. Bro, I can't do it, bro. I mean, listen, Canelo's an all-time great fighter. Yup. All that good stuff. I since losing to who's the guy I just named? Bivol, it's like it, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like some of these men. We get the third fight against Triple G, and Triple G is like 100 years old. Nobody asked for the third fight. Nobody asked for that fight. Then you get the fight with the kid DeCharlo, who came up like Crawford came up 2-3 weight classes. Then we got what's his last kid? The young Puerto Rican kid who was in nobody's top anything. No disrespect to him. Nobody asked for this fight. Nobody asked this fight. There's other, and now we getting this. Okay. I got Canelo winning the fight. By decision. I'll say decision. He hasn't knocked anybody out in a while, so I'll say decision. And on the Terrence Crawford, hopefully, I wouldn't mind seeing it. Crawford is the number one fighter in the world. He's moving up a bunch of weight classes.
Huh? I would love to see it. You don't mind seeing it. I would love to see it.
No,
I mean,
yes, I would like to see the fight. But so here's my problem, Shells. As a fight fan, I would like to see the fight. As a purist, somebody that watches boxing, I understand that this fight is. It feels like this. I said this to you before. That this fight with Terrence Crawford is a catch-22 for Canelo. If he wins this fight, he's not. I'm just telling you what this is. I'm not saying whether this is fair or not. He's not going to get the credit that like your average fighter after he beats the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, he will be on top of the world. He's not going to get that from everybody. I'm just putting that out there. Like, this dude is coming up 3 weight classes. He's supposed to win this fight. He's supposed to win this fight. If Crawford wins it, he's the man forever. Like, it's like, bro, take your gloves off. Take your gloves off, bro. You just walk up, take your gloves off. You're good. You're good, bro.
Right.
You're good. Right? You're good. Yeah, it's a catch-22. So I'm interested to seeing it, but the interest is more on the Crawford side. Can Crawford pull it off? It's like David and Goliath in a sense.
Yeah.
Like right, these two, like what?
Like you said earlier, Kev, no one asked Goliath to take the fight. He had the choice to walk away.
This is true.
He didn't have to take. He could have just fought Jake Paul.
He could have. Shout out to Canelo. He could have. On behalf of boxing, shout out to Canelo. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But he took Terrence Crawford. Fair.
And we have a whole different conversation right now.
Fair.
Maybe he would get the spectators if he pulls it off against Crawford. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what? Maybe if it turns into a really good fight, he'll get it. But on paper,
I don't. On paper, I mean, bro, even on paper, it still looks good. Canelo beats. You just said it for the pound for pound best boxer
fight in the world.
Okay, I beat him. How doesn't that look good on paper? He's on the surface. I mean, if you dig for it the way you dig for it,
I don't know, Shells. What if he goes in there and Terrence Crawford looks like Charlo? What if Canelo hits Terrence Crawford a few times, catches him clean a few times, and then Terrence Crawford decides, you know what? I don't necessarily want to engage anymore. What if that happened? Would he begin? See, what I mean is, under any circumstances, when you go into a fight, you're fighting the number one pound for pound fight in the world. If you dominated the number one pound for pound, you'd be like, oh my good son, he dominated the number one pound for. But that's a circumstance where he wouldn't quite get it. People would say he moved up. If he goes in there and looks too good, people are gonna say, yo, this was a mismatch.
And
there are conditions where people are gonna say that. That's what I'm saying.
But Canelo will have a legit rebuttal. I didn't ask for this. He did.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about as far as credit, as being the best. Bro, Canelo right now, his resume, if he was to beat the number one fighter, pound for pound fighter in the world, we would be talking about him being one of the best fighters ever. Yeah. If he goes in there against Terence Crawford, who is regarded by most to be the top pound for pound fighter in the world, if he goes in there and if he dominates him similar to the way he dominated Charlo or one of them, people are gonna say this was a mismatch. People are gonna say that. You could be the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, but if you jump up 3 weight classes, bro, that's like, you know what that's like, bro? That's like Duplessis going up 3 weight classes and fighting John Jones.
Yeah, definitely.
Or give somebody with a bigger resume. Islam on one of them, going up 3 weight classes and fighting John Jones when he was at. You would be like, if John Jones beat him, you would say, you'd be like,
No, what I would say, you know my thoughts of it. When you walk into the octagon of the ring, you're telling the world, I'm the right man to do the job against him. That's my thing with that. It's like, you move up, I don't care if you move up.
But do you give the credit, Shells?
I mean,
that's my question. No. We get that if you step into the ring, we get the gladiator stuff. Would you honestly give the credit? Is John Jones now if he wasn't prior, is beating Islam, who moved up 3 weight classes, does that make John Jones the number one pound? I'm saying if he didn't have the John Jones pedigree, would that make him that guy?
I mean, on paper.
Does it make pound for pound ain't on paper? That's not a paper award.
Islam move up 3 weight classes to fight John Jones head off across the octagon. Or you saying that when people say like, it's a
if somebody, I'm just saying, if Islam is the pound for pound, I give you another example. Who's the light heavyweight champion right now? The guy that just beat Pereira. Angelayev. If Islam Makhachev right now, Angelayev does not have that huge. If Islam Makhachev went up there 3 weight classes and took an L to Angelayev, we saying Angelayev is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world? What are we saying?
Off the back just because
3 weight classes, Shell. 3 weight classes. Didn't bro, Shells didn't even fight. Shells didn't even fight in the other 2 weight classes. Skipped it.
No, Cap. I get what you're saying. I want to give him like he's pound for pound number 1 now.
That's what I'm saying. Is it?
Of course, there's some people obviously going to say he don't deserve the credit, but I'm going to say, is that the same as saying this is not a legit win? No, it's a legit win. He legit beat him.
No, he legit. All I'm saying is that it's a win is a win is a win. We ain't saying that. A win is a win is a win. It's boxing. But at the same time, I'm saying it's a bit of a catch-22. He's not gonna get the recognition that he would. Bro, he's not gonna get the recognition he would have got if he would have fought other people. Let's put it like that. Let other people less decorated than Terence Crawford. Let's leave it at that. Is that a fair estimation? There's people less decorated than Terence Crawford that Canelo Alvarez could be fighting right now. That would be way as decorated as Terence Crawford is right now. It's a mismatch. It's on paper. It's a mismatch. There's several people that Canelo Alvarez that we looking at could be fighting right now.
Are those people calling out Canelo Alvarez?
Yes.
Are they calling?
Yeah. I give you one in particular. Bro, I give you one in particular, bro.
Benavidez, bro. You talking about like
yes.
No, but we already established that's the guy. But I did establish like a few minutes ago that early in the conversation that's the guy who we all really want to see fight Canelo. We all know that. That's definitely it. And I did say that he might. In fact, he might be one of the. He might. Who knows? Be one of the 2 fights that has not been announced yet. That Canelo will take on in 2026. Remember, it's a 4-fight deal.
It's a 4-fight deal. It could be the last fight, but Canelo gotta want to sign, bro. But Canelo gotta sign off on that. You think Turkey and them got the power to? Nah.
He signed up on a 4-fight deal, bro.
Yeah, he probably fight the winner of Benavidez and Bivol. I mean Bivol and Beterbiev. Which should be a goodie.
You feel what I'm saying? So like he signed up on a 4-fight deal, so he already his signature's already on the paper, bro. I don't see him like, because will he be then backing out the contract if he doesn't want to fight him? That'd be crazy different. If you sign a contract now you backing out, that's different.
Nah. 4-fight deal, nah, Shells. It's a 4-fight deal. Did you sign who the opponent's gonna be for each fight? I think that's kind of how it works. There's no opponents on. They may have named Crawford, but I highly doubt they probably have expectations of who they would want him to fight. They might want him to fight the light heavyweight dude, but nah, it's a 4-fight deal. Nah, I don't think there's names on it. If maybe Crawford, but outside of Crawford, nah. I'm pretty sure Canelo gonna get a say in who he's fighting. That's a slave. That's a paid slave deal, bro.
I mean, let's not get into that kind of. Someone said that all athletes are paid slave.
Oh no. No. But when somebody's telling you who you're gonna fight in boxing, and you're the cash cow, when's the last time that happened?
I mean, when's the last time
This is a different era in fighting,
bro? But you signed a contract.
He's on the contract with PBC, didn't he? Didn't he have a 3-fight? Didn't he have a 3-fight deal with PBC? Or am I mixing him up with Crawford? That was Canelo. And people thought that Benavidez was going to be one of those names. He ended up fighting Charlo, and I think they broke the deal. Right? Ain't that what? Because I'm thinking at the end of that rainbow is gonna be Benavidez, because Benavidez was exclusively signed to PBC. All of a sudden, what happened? Deal got broke. I use you for this fight. Nah, that's it.
I mean, all right. Well, you know what? Let's just be thankful we gained Crawford. All the more reason why we should be thankful we gained Crawford.
Mess around, don't get Crawford, Shells.
Huh?
Mess around, don't get Crawford. We just get Scull. Bro, I wouldn't, Rochelle, the way how things been going since Bivol, I wouldn't be surprised if how old is Crawford? About 37? Bro, they might try. Shell, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear about him fighting Crawford to next Cinco de Mayo, bro. I would not be surprised if we don't hear about him fight. Crawford be about 38, going on 39 by the time they get in the ring.
I won't be surprised about that either.
It's honestly, a 4-fight deal, Shells. Let's see who September, who we fighting in September, bro. For Independence Day. I am not sold it's gonna be Crawford, bro.
Man, the man said that's the man. I mean,
Crawford puts around some Shells. Crawford puts around be the 4th fight on the deal. Crawford,
we'll see, man.
He younger than Crawford, bro.
You mean,
Canelo's younger than Crawford.
Definitely is.
Yo.
But, we gonna see, bro. We gonna see. We just dismiss this Scull right now. That's a crazy thing. We done stop talking about homeboy.
No disrespect, but
yeah, I mean,
this has been the Canelo playbook, bro. This is. We sit up here and be like, and it got how much times we've been up here doing a Canelo fight, and we saying, no disrespect to who he fighting, but so it's like 3 straight times, bro. It's like you try not to be disrespectful, but it's levels. Canelo surpassed these levels a long time ago. If Canelo loses this fight, he washed. That's what we'd be saying. If Canelo lost this fight, we'd be saying, bruh, I think he lost it. He washed. That's why he been fighting these dudes. If he loses any one of these fights, that's what we're going to be saying.
Yeah, that is true.
And for us to be saying that lets you know that the levels of what's going on here, bro.
Yeah. I mean, that's a funny for you, man. Like we do all say that. Like, no disrespect to Homeboy, but the guy
Son,
who
the
really wants.
last, and we feel genuinely bad, bro. The last ain't Edward Bellinga. It was like, we happy for your opportunity. We ain't trying to hate, bro. But, but no disrespect. But, like, what are we doing? All right.
That should be that might be like, if you look through Canelo's fighting record, like a lot of those fights would be like an astronaut name, and the action's gonna be like, no disrespect, but
Yo, can you imagine if Terrence Crawford was the fourth fight on this deal, bro?
Huh? It's supposed to what?
I said, could you imagine if Terrence Crawford was the fourth fight on this deal? Could you imagine, son? I think I don't think it's gonna go down in September, Shells. You gotta remember, like we stated, Canelo's not asking for the smoke. He's holding all the cards, bro.
He's not asking, but he signed. He signed on it though.
Yeah, but who said? Is it signed that those two are fighting in September though?
It's fighting in September, bro. That was the deal, bro. As a matter of fact,
no, they're not fighting in September, Shells.
Yo, as a matter of fact,
they not fighting in 2025.
Right, 2025.
He's not fighting Terrence Crawford in Sep 25. He got all the cards, and he gonna milk this out just like they did with Triple G. All that, they gonna milk this. They gonna milk this. What's his name is screaming is the number one pound for pound fighter in his back pocket. He need to fight me. Know what? Let's see how long we gonna push this till he get mad. When Terrence Crawford turn around and say, you know what, I'm not fighting him, they gonna be like, all right, look, here's your deal. I promise you. I'm telling you. Canelo is milking the game for every time. I'm not even mad at him. I'm not mad at him as a person. No. As a fight fan, I'm like, come on, man, come on. Give me a good fight. Give me a good fight.
Get it. Have the most fights. God get you as much money as you can.
Yeah, I'm not.
With the least
yeah, because that's what it's so many fighters that get jerked around. So when a fighter does get in this position, it's like, I get it. But as a fan, it's just like, oh.
I put this upset special. September's not the Crawford fight's not happening in September. That's the most.
Not in 2025, bro.
That's the most upset special I've ever tasted. And also special for the show. This is the one that's been most upset.
This dude right here beat to his own drum. He beat to his own drum. I'm surprised he signed with Turkey, but watch how this play out. I don't know who they're gonna put him in the ring with, but watch how this thing play out.
We're gonna see, man.
We're gonna see.
We're gonna see.
All right, so there was a fight announced by the UFC. An interesting one. We got Joaquin Buckley against former pound for pound kingpin Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman. That was announced this week. What are your thoughts on this one, man?
Yeah, this fight is happening for I believe it was UFC Fight Night for June 14th, which is it's gonna be a certain ways from now. We're just talking about it because it's been announced.
It's been announced.
What this tells me is this. The UFC is the UFC guys looking at Joaquin Buckley like, yo, we think you're up next, bro. We think you're up next, and we just wanna put this guy in front of you because we're putting this legend in front of you to make a name on. We do giving this to you to make a name for you. Okay, if Buckley beats Usman, he's in the competition for a title fight. But we also said this about against my man Poirier versus
Saint Benoit.
Saint Benoit and not Usman. Poirier had to remind us who he was. So there's also a chance for Usman to remind us who he is. But like I said, this is definitely a fight that letting us know that the UFC's got potential plans for Buckley. He's got to get past the test. What about you, Kev? What do you think?
I like the fight. He's coming off a win against Covington. Buckley, impressive showing. Matter of fact, he's streaking. He's streaking right now. When these guys, the UFC, there are no tune-ups and pushovers. When you're streaking, you're dangerous. And Usman's been out a while. He's been out a while. He lost the last three. That's 2 to Edwards and 1 to Chimaev. Anyway, that's still a 3-fight losing streak. Maybe I don't know. And he's older now. Usman he should be past 35 about now. So I don't know, Shells. He has a lot of injuries. It's about he has no cartilage in his knees, all kinds of stuff like that.
That's been an issue for him. It was an issue for him when he walked into the fight against Hamza Chimaev, and even though he lost, that was a very good performance. If you consider everything that was up against him. I mean, we had this conversation before, but if you consider everything that was up, I know Elisa Eldo, but if you consider everything that was up against him, I think he took the fight on a week notice. There was actually in the middleweight division, he moved up a weight class to fight him.
Yeah.
And he still gave Chimaev the business, and he lost, but it was still like it was at a point where you could see that if he had more preparation, things could have went different. Like it gave you that fight, gave you that feeling, and it's an interesting fight to me. It also tells me that he's trying to get back into a conversation for another shot at the welterweight, because if he beats Buckley, I think because he's ranked number 4, Buckley's number 6, so they both 10 of the division. So if he beats him, the only other people that's ahead of him for contention of the belt is, as we speak right now, is Sean Brady, is Shaq Rhinoff, who's out due to injury. So if he beats Buckley, bro, he's like, this fight is basically a contendership match.
Right, number one contender, probably. Yeah.
Probably not even number 1, but yeah, probably number 1. Because by the time they fight, Shaw might be up next for the title shot against the winner of Muhammad and JDM.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that maybe we're overrating his loss to Chimaev? He gets a lot of props for the loss. Do you think we're overrating that? His performance?
I don't think I'm overrating his performance. Like I said, and considering everything, he was out coming off of the 2 losses to Edwards, taking a fight on short notice. Even though I remember you brought up this conversation that it was a short notice for Hamza as well, because he's fighting a
totally different fighter.
Paulo
Costa and Kamaru Usman, 2 different fighters. Not to mention, Usman been calling him out. Like, I get the feeling that Usman kind of might have been more prepped for that fight than we give it. And then, you know what the thing about that fight was? Usman came back and made the fight respectable. But he was almost out of there not as fast as Whitaker, but he was almost out of there pretty quick. If you recall that fight, Chimaev was, wrestling-wise, you would think, Kamaru Usman is top of the line wrestler. Bro, Chimaev was all over him. He almost choked him out. Like, he was on his back, had him face flat and almost. I'm like, yo.
You stop real quick. You make a good point. But hear what you just said. He was almost out of there as fast as Whitaker, right? Whitaker, who prepared for the style of Hamzat, who went in there prepared and still performed more poorly than a guy who. But again, you're probably right. He probably was underplaying how. But I'm just going by the fact that, okay, you may train here and there for this person who you think you might fight in the future for, but I doubt fighters go through that intense fighter camp style training unless they know they're getting.
Right.
Right. So when he was called for that fight, he was not going through that. You can't. You can't let. Oh yeah, your body's gonna deteriorate. So, and we already know that he has issues with ankles.
You say say that again. You already know.
We, we, we already know he has issues with his knees. So that's what. So we know for a fact he's not going through that. Can't we stop training like for? He's not doing that. He may be keeping himself in shape, and every now and then he's probably keeping in mind that he may fight Hump. This is what I would do. This is how I do if I ever had a chance to fight. But when he got that call, he was not. Of course, like you said again. I'm going back to what you. I remember brought up when we last spoke about this. He was not on the couch literally eating Cheetos when he got the call. Yes, so we know that. But he's not going through that intense training. When he got that call, he wasn't going through that intense training. Hamzat was. You know what I'm saying? And that's the point I was trying to make. Hamzat was more conditioned at that time than
Usman.
And Usman still performed the level that he did. And he was more, and he did perform better than Whitaker, who walked into the octagon expecting to fight Hamzat. So again, like Usman is like Usman. I still feel that Usman probably still has he probably thinks he have another. Not I'm not saying he probably thinks it probably is another
Right.
run for the championship in him, and we're gonna find out when he fights Buckley.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Former pound for pound best fighter in the world.
He was like, let's not underplay his round. I mean,
Yo.
Besides it, but let's remind the people like, yo, there was a time when Usman was lapping this division, bro, and there was no end in sight, bro.
Number one pound for pound fighter in the world, undisputed. There was no disputing. We didn't bring up anybody else. It was Usman.
No end. It was ridiculous. It was like, yeah, like.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a goodie.
Ridiculous. Like,
that's gonna be a goodie. That's gonna be a goodie. It will be interesting to see. This kid is young. I think this fight is gonna tell us all we need to know about both. Because for Usman, if he loses, it's gonna be his fourth. But this kid is confident. He's streaking and he's ready to prove something. So if Usman can put him down, it will be telling. And I think the UFC would love to have Usman back in the mix in that division. It's a great story. And he's not a boring fighter. He brings it every time. So it's like I think the only dud he had was the Masvidal, which was short notice. That whole foot stomping thing, and he more than made up for it when they got back in the ring again. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So that's the only blemish. That fight against Masvidal. You're right. That toe stomper.
Yeah,
that he was doing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So let me ask you something. Huh?
No, like you said, he made up for it.
He did. He did. So let me ask you something. So Justin Poirier just announced that his last fight is going to be against Max Holloway. It's going to be a trilogy in which Poirier is leading 2-0 already. But his final fight is going to be against Max Holloway. What's your thoughts about this one? Damn, I heard a teeth suck, a hiss. Damn.
No, I'm like, I just feel. I get it. I just feel low key bamboozled when you hype up the trilogy. Don't hype up the trilogy when you already met. Don't hype it's another fight. It's another fight between two legends. Yes. Tell me that the trilogy, like, bro, it's a trilogy when both you guys have one each, putting it all on the line for this third fight. But it's not all going on the line for this third fight. I mean, it's line. We're going to see a spectacular show, and he's going to give his all in for his last fight. But it's like. There's no real implications. It would have made more sense if he had fought Gaethje. Okay, even if his last fight, there's this trilogy. Both of them are coming up with something to prove. But I guess you could say that Max is probably trying to get his W from the 2 LC caught from this duel. He's probably trying to get the best of him, and I guess Poirier's trying to keep his record of beating. I guess he's trying to
sweep.
We could say that. We could say
sweep him.
Yeah, let's say that. The sweep and Max trying to get his some. I guess we could say that. We could say that. I'd rather have seen him fight Gaethje, but
yes,
I'm pretty sure Gaethje. But to be fair, I'm pretty sure Gaethje's already said, like, listen, the last time I had a chance at the belt, Y'all told me to go fight Holloway and I did it. So this time I'm not doing that again. Give me my shot at the belt. I'm not putting on the line anymore. I get it. I get that. I'd rather have seen that, but I'm not mad at this. I would say
Okay.
that.
Okay.
This is to me as a trope. It's a third fight between these guys. It's not
It's a trilogy, man. Come on, man. This is a trilogy. These are
bro,
the
they gotta be a difference. Because the implications are different. There gotta be a difference between this is our third fight because each one of us got one and we want to sell it right, set the score right now. And this is our third fight because we just two happen to cross paths again. You don't agree with that?
Yes, I agreed with that. Yes, I do agree to an extent.
They gotta be, bro.
I'm not crazy about the idea of fighting a guy
A third
third time
bro?
if you already beat him twice. But both fights were very competitive. This would be similar to in boxing when Pacquiao kept fighting Marquez, and then the last fight Marquez knocked him out. The last fight Marquez knocked him out. I tell you what though, this is, even though there's a 2-0 lead in all and what you just mentioned, this fight has implications for Holloway. I think a third loss to Dustin wouldn't be good, but a back-to-back, a loss, the way he lost to Poirier, he needs a comeback fight. He needs a pick-me-up. And if you can beat Dustin Poirier, I think that would be a big-time splash going into the lightweight division. I can't think of a better name to beat off the top of my head. I think this is the baddest of the baddest. He's probably a tie with Gaethje. When you talk about the baddest of the baddest, you could beat one of them, you belong. So I think this is kind of like all chips on the table for Max to me. Because if he doesn't get it on, just for Poirier, he's saying he's retired. I mean, who do you fight? I mean, you probably can't even get Patty. You thought he couldn't get Patty? Yeah, you don't get Patty. You would be fighting Rob Font, maybe?
Bro, what do you mean?
Huh?
You fight Chandler. That's easy. If Poirier beats him, you fight Chandler.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm trying to say is for the BMF, right? But I guess what I'm trying. Well, this fight I think is for the BMF. They were showing Max Holloway in a poster with the belt, so I guess
it better not be for the BMF because if Poirier beats him, why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't you put it on? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the, according to you, it's a criteria to be in the BMF. So here you go. You got here you go. You got Poirier. And then he could fight Chandler after that if he loses. But I think that, well, I guess what I'm trying to say, Shel, even if he fights Chandler after this, he's not a contender. You understand? He's been a contender his whole career, plus a badass. But I think the contender part kind of, if he loses to Poirier, the contender part kind of, he's the BMF guy.
He's a BMF, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of the BMF. He's not.
That's why I feel that belt's important.
And beating Chandler wouldn't put him back in that conversation either. After the fact, I don't. It wouldn't put him back.
I might get some other people mad out there, but you're absolutely right. It should be for the BMF, right? And I'm just doing this. I just hype. We're just playing right now. If Poirier beats him and walks away with that belt, right? In no circumstances, what would happen? The belt becomes vacant, and at that point, you could have Max Holloway and Chandler fight again for the BMF title and see something like.
Not surprising. At this point, bro, I'm not even upset. I've matured past it, so I'm I'm good. Yeah, sure, sure.
But no. That's you're absolutely right though. If it's Poirier, then the conversation of him being a contender does fade away. You're absolutely.
Yeah,
it does fade away.
Yeah, that's
so. Yeah, this fight. Yeah, this fight has a lot of implications for Holloway more than Poirier.
Yeah,
Poirier's leaving.
He's out. For now, this fighter's retiring.
Huh? Say again?
I said, for now, fighter is retiring. Like, who buys this stuff?
Yeah, you never know. They just not gonna come back. Nah, you're right. It's well, we obviously it is more implication for Holloway just off of the fact that Holloway is not retired.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. So there you guys have it. Let us know. What do you guys feel about the big fights happening this weekend? Um, who do you did you guys agree with any of our points? Who do you guys think is taking these W's and walking with these L's? And do you think Canelo's cherry picking? Matter of fact, that's the main point. Do you think the if Canelo gets past his opponent this weekend, is he actually fighting Crawford? That's a biggie. I'm really want to upset special that I didn't intend to hear. And out of all the upset specials that happened on this show, this is the first one that really made me like. If they don't have this, if Crawford and Canelo don't have it in September, I'll be very angry. But let us know what you guys think. Um, what do you guys think about the news of Buckley and Usman fighting each other in the welterweight division? What do you think of the implications there for both fighters? And what do you guys think about the implications for what do you think the future looks like for Holloway if he win or loses that fight? Please hit the notification button so you know we come with more content. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment. Like I said, let us know what you guys think. Until next time, I'm Shells.
Kev, 8 Count Sports.
And this is Fight Works with Kevin Shells. Better win, guys. Peace.